Are you an entrepreneur? Do you struggle meeting people or talking to people? Are you in monk mode and you haven't seen civilization for the last 2 weeks? Well, do I have a challenge for you guys today? I have a business bar challenge for entrepreneurs and those that are business oriented or people who have trouble making connections with other people. This challenge is for you. This challenge is calling for all my future kings and queens, for those that want to go and do great things and meet people. This is for you. So, what is this challenge all about? I got this idea off of the monk mode and how you get so you're just driven. All you're doing is working. And in monk mode, they usually say like, don't go out, don't see anybody for months on end. If you're in monk mode, chances are you're already introverted. Chances are you already have problems with communication, talking to people, and it's not a good idea for you to actually give yourself a pat on the back for encouraging that behavior. So, you hear about all these bar crawls and all these really unhealthy things for you. So, I'm going to throw this at you and let's see if it bounces. Let's see if we can get some traction on this for something that will help you develop, grow, and communicate with other people. So, the challenge. What is the challenge? The challenge is on the weekends, because weekends are the easiest time to find people. On the weekends, you go to a local bar and you have a conversation with a stranger. There's two things that you need to do in this bar challenge. One, you actually need to talk to somebody. It needs to be more than 10 minutes. You need to get a takeaway, a life lesson, just learn something. Here's a challenge. Learn something about that person that you didn't know beforehand. That's the second thing. The third thing, if you want extra credit, if you want to be the absolute best at this challenge, try and get a picture with them. And here's the thing, we're going to do it on this channel. When you do these things, this is going to be a channel for everyone, that when you learn these amazing things, when you accomplish these goals, I want you to pop it in the comments. And if they'll let you, if you get a picture with this person, pop it in the comments as well. Now, when you're doing this challenge, a couple of things. You want to be safe, so make sure you're going to a safe area. Also, especially for my young kings and young queens, make sure you're going to an area where you might run into somebody that maybe has some money or someone that you can learn something for, maybe business-wise. In the area that I'm in, I'm not kidding, there's a place that I like to haunt. Like, it's my go-to area in here in the South, in the city that I live in. And I kid you not, on a Friday night, I'll see a McLaren, like 2 Lamborghinis, a Ferrari, and what else did I see? I saw like all those cars plus a Porsche and an Aston Martin all in one day. Now, that was the first day where the area that I was in was like really warm and nice. So like it was like 5 or 6 really expensive cars. Your chances of running into somebody that might have some business sense or might have something interesting to learn about could be one of those. Make sure you're safe. But here's the thing. You can't go with a group of friends, okay? When you go in a crowd of people, it's off-putting to have this bar challenge. So this is something you got to do by yourself. So if you're super like socially, like you're really good at social interactions and you're always surrounded by a group of people, this might pull you out of your comfort zone a little bit to have to go and do this by yourself. So we're going to local restaurants. You're going to go sit up at the bar. You can drink if you want to. I would highly suggest not, especially for this bar challenge, but you can grab a drink if you want to, one if you are, and other than that, like just order a meal, have an appetizer, just hang out at the bar. Friday nights and Saturday nights, from personal experience, are usually the easiest to do this bar challenge. And I do this personally, and I'm going to tell you why I came up with this challenge and the success and the things that I've learned by doing this challenge myself. It's something I personally challenge myself with. So I'm giving something that I worked on to you guys to see if it helps you as well. Because I am single and I do not like being stuck in my apartment. And while I make decent money, it's not a lot where I can go out every weekend and do like 1,000 different things. Like I got to be very careful with what I do and what I spend my money on. So I'm doing this whole entrepreneur thing. Like I've had it with the money thing. Like I want to be able to do whatever I want to do and know that there's X amount in the bank account. Don't know about you. Hope that resonates. But this challenge, it's also going to increase your ability to approach people. It's kind of awkward being a stranger, right? It's gonna, make you learn something about someone or a life lesson, or it's at the very least going to soften monk mode just a little bit. You're looking for the balance. You're looking for moderation. There is such a thing as a moderation rule where it's not too much, not too little. And I love this rule of moderation. I might do a whole video about that. So moderate. Now, some of the experiences that I've had with this. So I'm not even doing a picture. Like I'm just going to tell you some of the experiences I've had. The first one and the most memorable one was, this is advice from a retired Marine. One of the first things and one of the quickest ones I can share on this encounter that I had, it was a 2.5 hour conversation with a complete random stranger that was just so enlightening. This guy I think he was a grandpa, like he was divorced. We were just meeting up at a brunch bar and like started talking about the food. Food is a really easy way to just talk to a complete stranger, okay? It just is. Oh, what's that? Oh, do you think I should order that? Is it good? Just to give you a little tip or trick. So this retired Marine, two major takeaways from him. The first is that this is a very, very alpha, he has a lot of presence, which is one of the reasons why I challenged myself to go and talk to him. I wanted to see how I could react to that, see how I could deal with that energy, see if I could learn something from him. And it turned out to be a beautiful conversation for 2.5 hours. And no, he wasn't hitting on me. So let's not start with that either. Honest. So in any case, first takeaway, he was like, I don't know where he was in the level in the military, but like, there's no question this is a highly decorated guy. Like I have no qualms about that or saying that on here. Highly decorated Marine, led other Marines. And that's where things get interesting. Excuse me. I am almost over this cough. I'm so sorry about the cough. I've been taking, I even took I've been trying to keep that cough down. I'm so sorry, guys. At some point I have the editing things where I can just snip this stuff out. But until I have the money to do that, I'm sorry. Let's get back to it. This retired military guy. One of the first ones is that when you're in a group of highly opinionated people, and I don't know about you guys, but in my mind, I'm seeing a bunch of burly guys, like getting a little loud, like getting a little, like it's my way or the highway. Maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong and you're a Marine, please let me know. But in any case, this retired Marine told me that if you're in a room with opinionated people, which by the way, I should also mention, he was an engineer as well, like a very intelligent man, very intelligent, very alpha man. And in any case, he did say that if you're in a crowd or in a room with highly opinionated people and things are starting to get loud and things are starting to get a little bit rowdy, in order to lead that group of people, in order to calm things down, if people are talking really loud, you raise your voice above the din, and then you slowly start talking your way back down to a normal level, and without having to say, hey there, or knock it off, or anything like that, just by grabbing their attention, talking normally, and raising your voice above the din, you can actually pull people back to you, pull them back to common sense, and pull back to getting the job done. So that was the first takeaway. The second takeaway, and a life-changing takeaway for me, I was always like 50-50. I want a 50-50 relationship. None of this, like, the woman has to cook, clean, keep a house, raise kids, have a job, and take care of her husband all at the same time. While all the husband has to do is go out and get money. Like, how is that fair? So I was like, okay, 50-50, right? 50-50. That's not feminist, but like equality. Some equality. At the very least, I don't want to have to do everything. Okay, I'm a strong woman, but for gosh sakes, I mean, if I'm doing all of that, what's the point of having a partner? Seriously, it's even more work. And relationships are work. Let's go ahead and throw that out there. So in any case, I'm talking to this ex-Marine, obviously he was divorced, so it came up. about his ex-wives, and he made a really interesting, very profound comment. And that is that a lot of people think relationships should be 50-50, and instead he said that they should be 60-40. 60-40. I was like, can you explain that? Like, what do you mean 60-40? Like like the woman's doing 60, like the guy's doing 60% of the work, or the woman's doing 60% of the work, like, and holding everything together all the time. Like, that's where my mind went. He so beautifully educated me that no, 60-40. And I swear by this rule, guys. I swear by this rule now. He changed my perception forever. He was so intelligent. It was so well thought out the way he did it. He said, life is going to come for you, and there are going to be challenges. And you and your husband have different skill sets. Some of them are biological, like some things are honed over the millennia. Some things are individually you based off your experiences. There are going to be things that are coming for you where one of you is going to be better equipped to handle that problem or to shoulder that burden than the other. So it can depend on what circumstances coming your way. It can also depend on seasons. For instance, if you're a woman and you want to get pregnant, or you are pregnant, let's be honest, you need some help from your guy. It's not easy growing a human being. I haven't been there yet, but I have a lot of friends that tell me it's not always the easiest thing in the world. You need some help from your guy during this time. There might be other times where your guy, especially if you're an entrepreneur, or let's just say work in general, well, things are slow, like you're having a hard time, like maybe you're getting a little depressed, maybe you're having some anxiety or even some anxiety attacks, and like you're just having a tough time. That's when the other partner steps up. So it's a revolving, it's not just 60-40 where one person's 60% all the time and the other is 40% all the time. It is an ever evolving 60-40 based on circumstances such as the challenges you are facing, as well as what season you or your partner are in. And it was just so beautifully profound. Changed my thoughts forever. So future husband, you can thank this ex-Marine. He changed my whole world. Changed my whole world about not equality, but what you should really be looking in a partner and what you should be willing to offer. And the fact that if he is having a hard time, that I can step up, that I can do X, Y, and Z, and it's not in a, oh, you're screwing up. Like, oh, no, with like compassionately, like, hey, I'm here for you if you need me. If you need me to go work 2 or 3 jobs, like, or if you need me to run the companies, I got it. You're having a hard time, which is great, because if I'm having our kids, I'm going to need you to shoulder that burden for a little bit and take some of the pressure off me so I can make sure we have a healthy kid. It goes both ways. So this advice from this Marine was just super profound. And that's why he's the first one that I did this with, and he's the first one that I'm going to share with you guys, because it's just that profound. Secondly, there's another couple that I met. Same thing, went up, had a conversation, started about, I think it was food or the weather. Or look, stupid, simple stuff can get you in the door when it comes to talking to people. So this was a couple, very well put together couple. That was another 2.5-hour conversation. Like, I don't go out for dinner for 2.5 hours usually. Like, I usually eat, look around, people watch, hang out with a friend, and then I go home. None of this 2-hour thing. So like when I do find someone, like I'm here to learn. Like, sure. And so I was talking with this couple. They owned a mortgage firm, completely family owned. And the shocking thing, they were the most successful. The rest of the family had their own pockets within the mortgage firms as well. They had all gone under. Only this couple was only able to hold their family business together. And there's a couple life lessons that they gave me, and some interesting moments as well. The first is that they had they didn't even have a website, guys. Not even a website for this multi-million business firm, mortgage firm that they had. Not even a website. No social media whatsoever, but you would think at least a website. No website whatsoever on this at all. And long story short, There was two things. One, and the biggest one, and they told me like the reason why we survived. They were also very religious people, very religious in the South. In the South of the United States, where I'm at, look, there's a lot of religious people around here, which is so beautiful. But they did say one, that they believed in a God, and that they were so grateful to Him. And one of the reasons why is because if you treat people right, if you treat your customers right, even so the point of treating them like family, they will do right by you as well. Good karma comes round. So that was one of the first things. The other thing that I took away from is that apparently business is part psychology, because I started talking. So it was the lady's family's business, but her husband was doing most of the work. And he was actually running the company. And he was talking about how he's having trouble scaling and this and that. And really, it wasn't a business issue. It was a personal issue. He didn't feel confident enough that he knew enough to train somebody, or that he knew how to train somebody, or even get a website up and going. So like I had so much fun talking with them and talking about the things they could do for their business for 2 hours, about you could do a website. Or hey, your wife says that she's really good at training people. Why don't you tell your wife exactly what you need in whatever position you need, and let your wife go do this? She wants to do this. And the hilarious thing is like 5 or 6 times that night, the wife looked at him, kind of poked him, and he's like, "Are you listening to her? I've been trying to tell you this for years." For years, she's been trying to tell him this. And I'm like, that's such a beautiful moment, that I could affect and help them in this way. Because by the end of the conversation, like he was starting to warm up to the idea of maybe getting some help, maybe getting an online website. One of the takeaways for a personal business, like I have an online business, like I'm trying to get my online marketing firm going, and it's online, right? I didn't think I needed personal cards. I so wish I would have had my business cards here and ready to go for this couple. I probably could have totally helped them build a website and get a social media presence, so they didn't have to spend on advertising. Like that was a sale, like right there, without even trying. Like I wasn't going out to sell. I was going out to help. So that was a really cool takeaway with them. And really, when it comes to that couple, it was just all like, do the right thing. Do the right thing, and people will come around. And they were the most modest, honest, down-to-earth people. I got a real laugh because at one point the guy was like, yeah, I have these doctors that come in with like their $400,000 a year. And there was a couple drinks involved, I think, before that as well. Let's just be honest. Even with her, there was a couple drinks. But about 2 hours, then he's like, yeah, I've got these doctors that are coming in with $400,000 in their wallet, and I'm just laughing at them as I'm making like 10 times that. And they come in like they're just like the hottest thing that ever existed. So that was kind of cool to like get like, okay, wow, okay, like that's why business is so important. Like even doctors are used to be revered. Doctors used to make a lot of money. They don't anymore. That's why you really have to have a business. An interesting thing is too as well, and I will tell you if you're doing this bar challenge, and I'm trying to be honest on here, both the good and the bad. So yes, I learned some really valuable lessons from this couple. It got a little awkward, more than a little awkward, when she tried to like, oh, like you should totally meet my son. You should totally meet my son. And I'm like, well, I can't. I just meet a really nice guy in person. That's like the second or third time that's happened to me. Like, I just want to meet a guy in person. Like, no offense. Like, it's so sweet. Like, I'm like, at first it's like flattery, and it's like, what the hell? Like, it's awkward. Is like, okay, like you want me as a future daughter-in-law? That's awesome. But it's weird as all get out. Okay. So just be prepared that when you do this, you don't know what crazy stuff is going to happen. You will get some really great advice. You can even get business advice. I even had a conversation with the CFO where he would go in, totally rechange the management, totally rechange the strategy, and then like leave the company once everything was fixed. I didn't really, that was like a year ago. So like the ones I'm telling you now are within like the last 6 months, to be honest, like 6 months. But that one, I didn't really have any huge takeaways other than this guy was like basically a business flipper. He would get in and get out. And he was also very, very reserved. He was a little bit harder to pick up information from. The other one, another couple that I ran into, you never know. another couple that I ran into. One was like what was she, a fourth grade teacher, and her significant other was an AI robot teacher. And I'm like, teacher? And he's like, yeah, I'm literally teaching the robot about English grammar and English like slang and like I'm like, okay. And then the fourth grade teacher, she was telling me about like how like all the challenges about being a teacher nowadays and her kids and this and that. It was just incredibly interesting. They were just a really sweet couple. Like they were so cute together. Like I wish them well. I hope they do really well together. I will say, ladies, if you are having a conversation with a couple and all like as this conversation's going by, you're noticing the guy get closer and more honed in on you, make sure to either A, bring in the girlfriend or wife or whoever it is in this conversation. It needs to be equal all three ways. Like you are managing this conversation. It shouldn't just be between you and the one person if you're with a couple. You need to rotate that conversation back and forth. And two, if the guy can't get a hint that maybe he should keep his girlfriend in on the conversation and he's getting a little too interested, you peace out. You grab your drink, you grab your food, and like it was such a pleasure talking with you guys. I wish you guys all the best. Thank you for your company this evening. Peace out. Just to it, okay? Guys, if you're going up with a group of like you can even go up with two girls, like make sure you be careful with the tone that you're using here. We're going for a business bar challenge, not for you to get distracted, okay? Keep your eye on the prize here. It'll come. It will come. Although I will tell you, if you can approach two girls at the same time, what an ego confidence that would be, that you could handle that you could actually talk to two intelligently at the same time. And you can use the weather or talking about how you're wanting to get your business going to start that conversation so that you can then go to learn more about them. And if you want to get their number after that, well, that's up to you. So there's that. And then one of the last experiences I had recently, and ladies, like, just so you know, like, the more makeup you put on, the more fake your people's subconsciouses will take you. Now, look, I'm sure I'm about to get a lot of hate for this, so please don't take this the wrong way, okay? Don't take it the wrong way. Because, look, I do heavy makeup sometimes, too. I mean, when I'm in the mood and, like, you know, like I just want to put a little into the system, like, yes, I will do it. For the most part, though, what you're seeing right now is what I usually wear. It is very minimal, and I know it's very minimal. Why am I doing that? There's an intention behind the makeup. Because when you're pulling a full face of makeup and you are just contoured and fake eyelash and puffy lipped and sharp brows all day long, you are putting on a mask. You could even call it warrior paint if you want to. And what does that do? What is a mask? There is something hiding behind the mask. And look, it's not our conscious minds that are going, oh, you're hiding something. It's the subconscious mind that will be like, oh, what's going on behind this? Why isn't this person sharing who they are? I don't know if I like this. Says the subconscious. I'm not talking about the conscious mind. I'm talking about the subconscious mind. Why? Because if there's a mask, there's potential danger. And that's where you can set off someone's subconscious. So I will tell you, on this last one that I'm going to share with you, I was going through my agency accelerator. I was pounding out the videos. I'm like, I want to get through all of them, or as many of them as I could. So like I was going through like 2 or 3 videos, 4 videos a day. And it was the weekend and I was quiet. Excuse me. And so I went out to grab an afternoon meal. I think it was a Saturday afternoon. I had not one drop of makeup on. I actually, on Sunday, I have a no makeup Sunday rule. I'll get to that later. You do have to let your skin breathe. I didn't have on eyeliner. I didn't have on foundation. I didn't have a single thing on. I had a tank top. I had a hoodie. I had jeans and some sneakers. And I went to the bar to go have a meal. I've got my headphones in for goodness sake. Like watching AA on my phone when this guy like taps me on the shoulder and starts asking me about bloody food. Like, hey, like, is that good? Like, okay. All right. Where's this going? Well, interesting conversation. with a partner at an anesthesiologist firm. And okay, I'm not gonna lie, it took me a minute. I'm like, I have nothing on. I'm just me. I'm just beautifully, imperfectly, honestly me, with no makeup, no nothing whatsoever. And this anesthesiologist, like, we started talking about medicine and we started talking about this and that. Like, I did pick up a few things about the medical field by listening to this guy. Ironically, one of my takeaways, and I'm hoping you find one of these as well, especially if you're starting a business, if you're passionate about it, this guy, this anesthesiologist, when I was telling him about like getting my agency off the ground and what I want to do, he literally turned at me and he's like, "Are you trying to sell me right now? Because it's kind of working." And I'm like, "No, I'm just being honest. I really am passionate about this. I really like this." Now, this doesn't relate to the kings, but to my future queens. You never know who you're going to run into. And I'm going to leave this for my female entrepreneurs and for the male entrepreneurs as well. There's a thing here as well. Try to leave your conversations, try to leave the people that are around you, including your significant other or even a one-night lover. Try to leave them a little bit better off than where you found them. If nothing else, try to have one takeaway from that person that you just spent time with. And so this anesthesiologist that was out having lunch in the area that I'm in, I did feel bad for him because it did come out that he was in the middle of a divorce. And I got to tell you, from someone that's done a lot of self-improvement and self-development, I could feel, I could smell the psychological wound on that guy that was about a mile wide. And like, that was a fresh open wound. And so what I did, and this is just me, take it for what it is. It's not that I'm trying to get the last word. I'm just trying to help him. I'm just trying to get him to think just a little bit. And so I left him and I said, when I went to go leave, I said, "Thank you so much for a beautiful afternoon. It was really lovely to learn X, Y, and Z. I really appreciate our conversation. Just so you know, what we're looking for might be right in front of us." And I just turned and left. Why did I do that? Because there's so many different ways you could take that. Maybe what's right in front of him is going back to his wife. Maybe going right in front of him is, like doing some self-improvement and figuring out how to cauterize that open psychological wound that he's got. It could be 1,000 different things. I like it because it's generic and because it would make him think and hopefully find some help and hopefully find some self-reflection. It's not, and let me be clear here, it's not about me getting the last word. Not at all. It's just, I felt so bad for that poor guy. I just felt so bad. I felt so bad. So for my gents and ladies, kings and future queens, when you're going out and you're meeting people, just so you know, you don't have to have $1 million to improve someone's life. You don't have to be amazing to make a difference. All it takes is a little bit of kindness and a lot of class. And that is one thing I try to do. That's an adjective that I try to uphold myself to, a standard I strive to achieve, is to be classy. And while this anesthesiologist guy was hitting on me and not my cup of tea, and clearly he was going through a tough time, I tried to give him something, even if it's just a few words, to make his life just a little bit better. I also learned that I was selling my agency without even trying. Now, I will tell you, if you're going to do this challenge, make sure you have some business cards on you if you do have an agency. I won't even lie. Like last week, I was out doing this bar challenge again. I met another entrepreneur who was doing wedding photography, and I was so proud that I got to give out my first business card with my name on it, with my agency and what I'm doing. So this is a challenge for you guys. Please put the takeaways on what you do in this challenge in the comments below. Be safe when you're doing this. Be strategic. Be strategic. Try to go to an area where you're going to get the most for what you're doing. Like, if depending on like your business, depending how shy you are, like think about what you need, what you want out of this challenge, what you're struggling with, and then go attack it. Then go out, then pick your area where you think you're going to get the most benefit, and then go and have a good time and learn something, not only about other people, but it gives you an opportunity to learn about yourself. And investing in yourself this way will have countless returns in the future. I kid you not. So go do this challenge. Be safe.